So is it a lie? If you didn't know it was a lie when you were saying it, I don't know. I'll let you all comment below. But our beloved good friend Tim Kaniskis said in 2021 that, or I'm sorry, I think it was around 2020, that the Hellcat Durango was going to be a one-off, 1 year due to emissions issues, that you were going to get your hands on it last year. Let me just play the clip. Here's the clip.
But you knew there was going to be a catch. Yes, the Durango now has the soul of a Hellcat, but it's only on loan. The Hellcat Durango will be a single model year run. When we turn the order books over to the 22 model year, the Durango Hellcat will be gone. So you've only got one shot. And
then, like a sheep to slaughter, so many ran out to buy that thing. And I would believe, I'm 99% sure, if you go back on my channel and go back to when that was announced, I was one of the few people screaming, don't fall for it. Don't go buy that. Just ask the 2018 Demon owners that were told there would never be another Demon. But at that point, we didn't know. We didn't know another Demon was coming. We didn't know that the Hellcat Durango would come back. But now we do. And as that news trickled in, there was a little lull in 2022, but I went to the LA car show and I saw the Hellcat Durango being proudly displayed in the Dodge section at the LA car show, one of the biggest car shows in the world. And I asked straight up the rep there, who frankly they're actors and actresses that are actresses. What the fuck am I saying? Actresses. I don't even know. Having a stroke right in front of you all right now. Anyways, they're usually actors and actresses. Actresses? I don't even know. I'm done. Let's start this all over. You get the point. Bottom line is they don't know what they're talking about, but they did tell me straight up, oh yeah, no, we're still selling it. And I was like, but wait a minute, this makes no sense. You can go watch my LA car show video in late 2021, or was it even, it was maybe 2022. I think it's late 2021 when they were pushing the Durango out again. And I think there's even a placard that said 2022, even though it turned out to be a 2023, and again in 2024, and then again in 2025. And guess what, folks? It's back for 2026. And there's an update on the lawsuit of everybody who ran in to buy one of these things to be the only one with that special collector's item. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this, because this is somewhat entertaining, no matter how you cut it. And I never want to be the I told you so guy. I just want to help people. I want to help people from making these colossal financial mistakes when they're buying a Dodge. If you want to buy a collector's car, go buy a Pagani, or just spend the same amount of money and go buy yourself an old, beat-up barn find of a 70 freaking Charger or something, and then restore it and then sit on it, and you'll probably be okay. Hell, my 64 Cadillac even went up in value when I bought it because it's old, it's already depreciated, and it's on its way back as a collector's car. You can go gamble on cars many other ways, but to gamble on one of these things is just downright stupid. So here's the deal. The Durango SRT Hellcat is back for 2026. Now, what I believe is going to happen here, and this is what I want to get across, is I believe this thing is going to be different. I believe they're going to have to change it up. I believe they're going to have to do something different, whether it's interior, which I know they updated, or it's going to be some extra horsepower or something to make this thing special. Because at a certain point, it stops being special, and these things weren't selling really well at the ridiculous prices they've been at for the last couple years. So for them to bring them back, there's got to be some kind of gimmick behind them. I can't imagine they're just going to do sticker cars, but there's going to be something special. I believe that. We'll see if I'm right down the road. But the bottom line is this thing is back for 2026. They're going to announce closer to the end of the year, make it official, and explain exactly what the trims are and any changes that they're making to these things. So to me, that's a great, great thing. Anytime they're bringing back the Hellcat engines is a good thing. And here's why. Because generally, they don't want to just have the Hellcat engine for one thing, which is why we're hearing rumors that the TRX is going to come back. And then we're also hearing rumors that they're going to stuff these Hemis into the Chargers. If that happens, because it would make sense now that you've got all these engines being built again, to spread them across the other platforms and sell them like freaking hotcakes. But here's the deal. Whole bunch of people were sitting there thinking they were going to have a 1 year only car. And then it turned out that it's not a 1 year only car. What are we going on? 4, 5 years or so of this thing? And there is zero special with it, other than it being probably the coolest, fastest, most insane SUV to exist on the planet Earth, next to the Trackhawk. How about that? So outside of that, or, a Lamborghini Urus or some, RSQ8 Audi or some outrageously expensive super SUV, this thing is still the beast that beats anything out there. All-wheel drive, towing capacity, looks decent, but if they do update it, then in any way, make it a little bit special, people will be coming out. And by the way, just a heads up for those of you that have extremely hard wooden heads, I'm rapping on your head right now saying, if they come out and say 2026 is the last year and you run out to buy one thinking it's an investment, you deserve what you get. All right? And I hate to say this about the 2021 folks, but they kind of deserve what they get, because so many of us were screaming, this is not a collection. Go buy a Pagani. But this is ridiculous. You think this thing was going to go up. But that's what led to the lawsuit. And you all remember I did a video on this when the lawsuit happened. I even interviewed one of the plaintiffs and was able to share a lot of information that he was sharing. And he even said to me, Brad, if I can just get free oil changes for life or something, I'd be kind of happy with that. Well, it turns out no, because I think there's like 7 plaintiffs or something like that. We'll look at that in a second, who are being the class certification folks. And then once they win, if they were to win, then of course you'll all of you own these things would get an email or a letter saying, follow these instructions to get your 27 cents and a free oil change or whatever the hell it would be, because it's not going to be a bunch of money, but it could cost Dodge and Stellantis a lot of money if they were to win. So they filed a lawsuit, and that's been going on forever, but there hasn't been any updates until recently. And now here's the update. The update is that they went to mediation and tried to resolve this like professionals. Put them in a room, and I've been to many mediations in my business life, and this is when all the attorneys are there, and sometimes they'll go in the same room together and try to work it out, or go to separate rooms. They'll have a mediator that goes back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, and then things will either get traction or stall out. And sometimes, I've been in these before, people will even just storm out and say this is ridiculous. Well, in this case, lots of posturing obviously took place, and it went nowhere. So it looks like now they're going to head back to court because they couldn't come to an agreement on what they wanted. Because I'm assuming they most certainly wanted more than just an oil change. And think about this. If originally, when they were mad in like 2023 and screaming from the mountaintops, they were kind of reasonable, like, okay, it was 1 more year. And that's what everybody thought. It was 1 more year. But now, by now, it's another year, a 3rd year, a 4th year, a 5th year. I mean, these people have got to be just... Their Durangos are worth nothing compared to what they thought they would be worth, and nor will they ever be. So anybody who defends that and thinks that's the case, just the world changes too fast, and we all knew that the whole EV push wouldn't last forever. It's, in this country, every 4 years you get a new shot to find out what new gymnastics are going to happen. So in this case, there's new gymnastics, and everybody's out there trying to figure out what the move is, and they can't sell the EVs, and they can't sell the overpriced junk. So now it's like, let's bring back what sells. And that's why this thing is here. But these folks, yeah, they were calling it a classic bait and switch scheme. The problem is I think that if they go to court, and I'm no lawyer, that Tim's going to be able to get up there and say, no, the emissions issues were the reason why, which they talk about here. They absolutely believed that there would not, that there would not be another year because of the emissions issues. They're going to be able to prove that all those emissions issues and requirements were legitimate and real here, and that they weren't able to meet them, and that the changes that took place allowed them to meet them. The biggest thing that Dodge is saying is that Dodge, however, isn't rolling over and going along with this claim. The company asserts in the suit that none of the plaintiffs have proven that they bought the car for its rarity or that the company's marketing statements at the time influenced their buying decision.
But you knew there was going to be a catch. Yes, the Durango now has the soul of a Hellcat, but it's only on loan. The Hellcat Durango will be a single model year run. When we turn the order books over to the 22 model year, the Durango Hellcat will be gone. So you've only got one shot.
So I could tell you, I don't know where I fall on this. I mean, I'm not a big fan of corporate speak and misleading customers, but I'm also not a big fan of people in general buying these things as investments and thinking that they're going to cash in one day. I think that's the epitome of stupidity and greed, and it's also taking a car that should be driven, meant to be driven, that's frankly cheaper than anything else with that level of horsepower, that was made cheap for a reason, is probably not going to be the next Roadrunner Superbird that's going to be $1 million crossing Barrett-Jackson next week. So these folks don't realize for that to happen, it's going to take 30, 40, 50 plus years. And then the car is going to have to be pristine, in great shape, fully resto-modded probably even by then, with Lord knows what powertrain, nuclear, who knows, to be able to go across that block and get some kind of crazy number for somebody to be able to go and experience the car. So bottom line is Durango's not going to be, it's not an investment. And these guys are already hitting a block wall with Stellantis and Dodge. And I don't know, I'm not saying I'm taking either side at this point. I mean, I don't like Dodge for misleading people, but I don't believe for 1 second that Tim or anybody there believed they were going to be able to bring it back. And I don't think they believe they're going to be able to bring back the Hemis and the Rams and the Chargers, which I think there's no way they can't do that. Which means I would bet anything that all you Demon 170 owners, you're going to be staring down the barrel of another Demon in another year or two. So it just is what it is. And let's check out the comments. The comments are always most entertaining. But it's not a classic bait and switch scheme. Dodge didn't advertise one model, then presume customers to buy a different, worse model since they lured them into the dealership. It was perhaps deceptive advertising to promote Durango SRT Hellcat as limited 1 year only. Even then, how does anyone make out the damages? If someone bought one as an investment and now complains that they paid too much or can't get enough, well, that's the risk with every investment. Very good comment. How about this? J Kid says, if you're buying Durangos of any flavor for an investment, you either have too much money or you're as smart as a fence post. That's giving these people a lot of credit, man, because I think the fence post beats them. I mean, not to be mean, folks, but if you're one of those people, you should have never bought it for that. You should have bought it to tow your boat and to go freaking drive fast and have fun in it. Dodge's Carnival barking antics with their words, though, does open them up to some liability. I'd compare it to a popular artist claiming a limited run, number of prints. I disagree with that only because it's a freaking Dodge Durango. And how many hundreds of thousands of Durangos are out there? How many hundreds of thousands of Hellcats are out there? So it was diluted before they bought these things. So I just don't see any way. But bottom line is they continually roast them here, share lots of examples. And you can go read all these if you want on Car and Driver's article about this lawsuit. But what do I think is going to happen? They're going to go back to mediation again and again and again, and they're probably going to settle out for something. And maybe it's a Snicker bar and a free oil change and some tire rotation. Maybe they'll throw in some of that really expensive nitro fill for the tires, and then they will settle this thing out and they'll move on. Because at this point, Dodge doesn't care. Stellantis doesn't care. They're bringing back the Durango, and they're going to keep bringing it back, and they don't care how mad people are. And that's a beautiful thing as far as I'm concerned, because Every Hemi they bring back shows that there is light at the end of the tunnel, the stupid tunnel we've been trapped in with these EVs making fake engine sounds. So with that, everybody, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's crazy times, crazy things we get to watch, and I will see you all in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100,000, folks. Help out, cost you nothing. Just click the button and let's get to 100,000. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.